Hey, welcome to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm your host, and we have a little bit of a new platform today. Hopefully, you'll enjoy it. The weather is just something, isn't it?
It's exciting, right? I was going to say, I was looking at Doug in the camera. I can still throw stuff down at him.
You can. Yes, we have a great position on that, don't we? Yeah, we can also do this.
Yeah.
Or go back to that.
Ed said that the snow was exciting. Is that right?
It is, right? It's nice to have early
Yeah,
water. It can stay
it's
up in the
exciting.
mountains mostly, but we need the snow and
Yeah.
exciting with the elections and a
How
fulcrum.
much
I kind
snow
of
do
feel
you
like
have
a
at
new
your house?
birth.
How much snow is at your house? And
An inch, 2.
yeah, that's why I've got about 8 inches out on the driveway. So you can come up and I'll show you how to run my snowblower.
Well, and that's kind of why we decided that maybe it was a good idea to do it this way because, what the heck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
weird,
it's
though.
pretty exciting. It's a little weird doing the show from home.
Yeah, well, I'm not at home. I'm at the office, but
Yeah, I'm at
I'm
home, though.
looking at Doug's library there, which he has been gracious enough. I've actually been there and seen that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I should have taken a different view for me because, I'm the book gal and look at his library looks a whole lot better than mine.
So
Well,
doesn't it look like Bruce Wayne's mansion?
It
I think the
does.
Batcave is back there. He's got like a butler head.
Absolutely. So we do have a word of the day today, and I thought maybe you guys might like to share a little bit about that first. And what do you think?
Wait a second. This is nice. You can just get up and leave. Debbie
Oh,
took my note.
No, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, buddy. What are you doing?
Oh, Debbie, she said, what was the word of the day? And I said, here. She looked at it and then threw it over on the desk.
Oh, yeah, blame your wife. Blame your wife.
Horripilation.
That always works to blame the wife.
Hyperlation.
Say it again.
Hyperlation. Hyperlipilation.
Horripilation is the word of the day.
Well,
no, horrification.
It's
right? Or was it horripilation?
Horripilation.
Horripilation.
Yep. Yeah, I had the wrong word of the day in there. Shame on me. We need Jay, or we need Shanimal, or we need somebody, right?
No.
The good thing about if you can't pronounce the word, there's a very easy one, and I don't know if it's 2 words or 1 word, but it can be summed up in goosebumps. Now there you go.
See, I can do this.
Is goosebumps 1 word?
It is 1 word. Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, not on Wikipedia.
No.
It shows 2.
Oh, the last time I saw it, I thought it said 1.
The bristling of body hair. Bristling.
This is the second show in a row where I haven't been able to find a synonym for it.
Well, somehow I just felt like with elections going on out there, for some people, it's probably causes some of those kinds of reactions, right?
Well, the good thing about it, it's a good word because
either exciting or ooh.
Yeah, no, they quoted Stephen King as it being in one of his books, so it's got to be a good word.
Huh.
Well, I was going to say, is this feeling associated with good?
With good?
I think it depends because a lot of it was related to Halloween and that kind of thing. Yeah. So
I was going to say, to me, it's an unknown. It's kind of like a warning. It's kind of like open your eyes.
I don't know. I don't know if that's so or not.
Yeah, I don't put it this way. I don't like it when I get goosebumps. Something.
See, some people think that's a really good sign.
Yeah. How about when it was first used? 17th century. I thought I had a better date than just 17th century. Yeah, 1656 was when it was first used. So yeah, that's Ed probably remembers it when it was new.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was probably in the first Bela Lugosi movie or something. But to me, like Wikipedia says, it occurs in many mammals. Now, I'd kind of like to know how they know that. Do you think that's true?
I never thought about this, but everybody has seen the hair on the back of a dog stand up. So I wonder.
Yeah, but it's different. They're in a pose. It's not a feeling or an instinct. They're there.
No, I think definitely a feeling that they have, and it's a synonym for that would be attack. So.
Yeah, but to me, the horripilation, right?
Horripilation.
The word is
horripilation.
To me, isn't it's an in between feeling. It's not a definite feeling. Like when a dog bristles, they're there, right? That's not how I feel.
You mean when the hair on the back of your head stands up, you don't want to attack somebody?
Well, my hair doesn't really stand up like that. That's not how I took it. It's more like sticking your hand down a garbage disposal and feeling something icky and going, ah.
Well, here's an example of horripilation used in a sentence. I
have to ask Ed this.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought, Doug. Let me finish.
Okay.
As the example of a horripilation used in a sentence, as a truck set off on the haunted hayride route, the riders experienced some horripilation in anticipation of the scares ahead. Now that's a stretch.
I think so.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
How did you come up with the hand in the garbage disposal analogy?
So it's just anything. I mean, right? If you clean out anything, when you put your hand into something dark and you can't see what's down there, and you have to rely on your hand senses, you get that. Or I've gotten that feeling before in that situation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, I just got a note that said that I'm in the dark. So if I'm in the dark for you, we'll fix that next time around. This was kind of a quick deal. My lights in here are not that bright, and we are getting some lights. So that'll be fixed. But it's good to be in the dark. I like it.
So, right. We think those in the left are in the dark, right? You're mentally in the light. Your picture's a little dark.
Yeah, well, that's okay. And so I thought I would share. I wanted to share with everybody. Give me a second. I don't know if I have it here or not. Looks like I might not have it. Oh, no, here it is, I think. Yes, I wanted to share my screen right now because there is something that I don't know if you guys have ever watched. It's like watching paint dry, first of all, just so you know. But hang on a second, and I will share my screen with you. And
you're a wizardess.
I will get better at this as time goes on, but right now it's just going to take me a couple of minutes to find it. Let me see. Here it is. It's one of these tabs. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is, can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That is the registrar of voters. Let me get my horripilation off. This is the registrar of voters. And if you're in Washoe County, that's what's happening right now in our voting area. You get to watch this 24/7, like I said, watching paint dry. But it's interesting because it gives you the different functions and things that they're doing. And so people who want to be observers, there's an area we call the fishbowl. It's kind of in the corner, I believe, in that top screen. Let me grab my screen because I can't see it very well on our other thing. Yeah, it's in the upper left corner. There's an area there. You might be able to see a person's face there where they're observing all this activity. When you guys were talking about the horripilation and or me being in the dark, today, the main people that are in charge of this function, and if they're listening, they're going to be mad at me, but actually, I think they're down in the upper or in the lower right corner. They're all in black. And I was like, well, are they angry? Are they upset? Well, it turns out they have voter shirts on. It says vote, and there's a picture of Nevada in white on it. But it looks like they're going to a funeral instead of a celebration of our vote, right?
Yeah, it's more like a 4th of July thing for me.
Yeah. But
Well,
why would they all be in black? And then these, like I say, the vote shirts are black with a
Hey,
white
I
Nevada.
really want to compliment you.
I
One
would,
of the coolest things on voter integrity, and I've always thought that they were sloppy and wrong, but last year or 2 years ago, right? Any question to any Secretary of State was nothing's wrong, everything's
Right.
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 Now, right, there's all kinds of mistakes, and guess what? They're all open with it. They know
Well,
eyes are on them.
you know
yeah,
what I
they,
like,
And
you know
I'm
what I
not
like
saying
about
they can't
those.
pull a shell game, but I mean that they understand they're being watched and that they have to respond.
yep.
There's a different level of integrity in the voting systems today.
Well,
What I
they're
like
being
about those shots, the 4 shots, it's just a hub of activity. Oh,
well, after the polls close, you get to watch the people coming in, the ballot runners, and in this case, because it's election day, the managers bring in all the ballots, and then they run them through, they scan them, they do all sorts of stuff in there. So you get to see all that activity on these screens. So for people who are observers, and like today with the weather being as bad as it is, at least if you can't be at the location in the fishbowl, you can watch on the screens. So, and sometimes it's almost better. I have a huge TV, and so I can see, detail from going on there. This morning I turned it on, and I don't know if anybody knows, but there was a bomb squad in there with a dog. And I don't know if that's been reported yet. So I'm going to report it right now.
I hadn't seen it anywhere.
Yeah. I woke up and saw my phone and it says, "Did you see that? There's a bomb squad with a dog." And I was like, "What?" So I thought I was crazy and jumped up, and I was a little late to the
well,
game.
what time do the polls close back east, or is that too much of a broad question? Is it different?
Actually, that you are like, you read my notes because I have that information for you. So
Oh.
let me find my notes here because I got it on my screen.
I'm pretty sure that some of them are 4 o'clock our
4
time.
o'clock?
No.
4 o'clock our time, 7 o'clock their time.
Right.
Yeah, it would
So
be
coming up
4 o'clock
top of
our
the
time.
hour.
So they will be starting to close here pretty soon for back east. And I do have those notes, but of course I'm not going to be able to find them while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. Or maybe I closed them. Never know. I was trying to close on my screen so my computer would work better. This is all new, trying to do this and run the show too. So, but it's interesting. Yeah, I don't have it open, so sorry guys. But yeah, I know most of them are 7 o'clock, but there's some that close at different times. There was some that closed on the half hour.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
And the counts, I mean, if the polls are right, they could go late. If there's a wave, they may not. But there's recounts, and there's all kinds of things.
Debbie was just sharing that with me. That it seems like all of the races that were close or in jeopardy for Democrats or Republicans, didn't matter. They're now having trouble counting. And I thought,
well, not only is it trouble counting, but we also had this morning in New York City, there was a pipe bomb scare. In Maricopa County, 20% of the tabulators, they're not reading correctly.
Right. They're only reading every fourth or fifth ballot.
Yeah, every fifth ballot. In New Jersey, they had a power outage in one county, so nobody could vote at that point. I'm hoping they've gotten that fixed, but doesn't it seem odd? Then we have this lovely little snowstorm here, and just seems odd to me that all of this is occurring on election day. And that why did they not have those machines checked? They worked fine during the election, during the early voting, right? We didn't hear about all these problems before.
So I'm going to say, right, it's just like the flu last year. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
They had no mistakes last year. They were perfect.
Yeah.
You know, Janice, I know you would know the answer to this question. Is
He's setting me up now.
and in each polling site, is there a responsible person? And what I mean is, I know a vast majority of people that are in a polling site are volunteers. Is there somebody that's a paid responsible person that operates that?
Not the polling locations, not the voting centers. At least this is Washoe County. I can't speak for all of Nevada, but I can speak for Washoe County that the polling locations have managers and assistant managers. So they're responsible people, but they are volunteers. And as being, I'm going to speak for we the people and say that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And it should be the volunteers that are running the show, and they've been trained. I think that during the primary, they did kind of a poor job of that. I'm hoping that with the general election, they've improved that and followed the law instead of doing whatever it is they were doing here in Washoe. I will say though that there is a lot going on, and I don't know that it's all going right necessarily, but I think that there's a lot of observation happening. I know that there are Democrat attorneys at the polling locations. At least that's the rumor that we've heard. And I know somebody who actually ran into one. So, at least at one of the locations there is. And
on the news, they said there's federal pollsters in Washoe and Clark counties.
Yeah, you're talking about DOJ. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Department of Justice put out a press release that in 24 counties that there would be DOJ out there doing their thing. And when I was watching the video this morning, I saw a guy with a mask on, so I figured that that's probably the DOJ guy, right?
So did you hear in Florida?
What time does Washoe close their polls?
7.
7?
Yep.
And that's universal. That doesn't depend on county?
As far as Nevada?
I'm sorry?
As far as Nevada, I don't believe it depends on county. I think that's across the board. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not an authority on that, on the time stuff.
That's 10 o'clock Eastern time. So yeah, it's going to be, people are going to be staying up late in the East, I guess.
Who knows? What do they care about? Well, I guess they'll care about. Oh, sorry, Doug. Now I've got you blocked out. Let me change my view here. See
That's all right. Doug has been changed to election.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, who's back?
Look, I lost you guys.
Look, she's into the light.
There we go. There we go.
So did you hear that in Florida, DeSantis, and I have to say I miss Trump's nicknames. Ron and Sanctimonious. I love his nicknames, right? I have to say.
It's funny.
But they're not letting the DOJ in, right? It's a states thing. Federal government had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And they've let him in the past, but I think he blocked them in Florida from entering because they don't have any legal standing.
It's kind of an observation is that we have tried for the past 2 weeks to tune in to different, just snippets of different programs. And it was always the same from one day to the next. They didn't, well, these are the important issues and this is who's behind and they're closing and this and that. And today I went on one website preparing for the program, and it was the only honest place that I ever saw. And it says, all these polls, everything else, history has taught us they really don't matter. He says it's going to be what it's going to be. And I kind of like that. I think that's the truth.
Did you see Elon Musk pulling for Republicans?
I did. That was funny.
On Twitter. That's big.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
you guys again.
Pay for that.
Yeah, this morning, and nobody knows how to quite handle him. You know what? I think that's awesome. I think it's really awesome.
So if you do personality masteries and you look at his personality, I think he's an expressive driver. I think he's the exact same personality as President Trump.
Could be.
Smart guys that like attention.
Yeah, I think he might be a little smoother than Trump is. That was Trump's biggest issue, is that he didn't have a smooth part of any of his talks. I mean, whatever he thought, he said. and people got tired of that. It was like school
So, but
bantering.
that's his charm too. People on the right love that because they've been wanting to say that stuff themselves for years.
Yeah, a lot
And
of them do.
And he had the kahunas to do it. However, you're right. There's the flip side of the coin. That's his big negative.
You know,
Yeah,
and talking
what a dichotomy of terms, because everybody's saying, we don't want a politician. We want just an ordinary person to run for an office. Well, you got Trump. And now you're saying, wow, he's not a politician. Listen to him. Yeah.
I'd like to segue over to, we were talking earlier, as we were talking about the election, we were talking about the fact that you know, so many things were being observed and they're doing it right. Well, as we may or may not know, Bolsonaro out of Brazil recently lost the election. Oh no, I don't. Before I go to that, let me first go to, we're talking about the observers and all of that. So I have a clip here from Wisconsin that I think you guys will be interested in seeing. So let me get to that right now. I'm going to share my screen again. And of course, it goes to the wrong clip, right? Sure. Here we go. This is the one I want to share. This is the Milwaukee clerk whistleblower. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start the clip, and you can listen to what he has to say. Maybe. My computer doesn't want to deal with it. Hang on. It's processing. We're doing it. I know it's going to work. Oh, it didn't work, did it?
You know what they need? They need a union of whistleblowers, a union for whistleblowers. I read another article about whistleblower this morning about Joe Biden's son, and they said somebody has come forth with new news that absolutely tied them together, tied his son and the president together during regarding all of the issues that they've had. Sorry.
No, you're getting a call there.
So, well, who is it? Is it the family dog as the whistleblower?
Well, no, it was interesting. One of the things that I don't like is this whistleblower, because of security, was afraid to come forward and leave his name. So what does that make him? It makes him anonymous. I don't like anonymous sources. Anybody can be an anonymous source if you're not going to be held accountable. You know what? Just come out and lie.
Well, I'll have to get that thing to come back up. Apparently trying to process that through Telegram and my computer and everything else didn't work. So
so the Cheeseheads correspondent got any comment on that stuff?
I don't know. I don't know if,
and we haven't really checked in with the DC, we haven't really checked in with correspondents lately, and there is stuff happening in those places.
It's true. And I know that we are streaming on What's the Story also, but I can't tell you for sure if anybody has done any chatting. Can you guys see? There's a chat here. I don't see anybody on the chat, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm new at this. That's what I'm going to say. I'm new at this. So,
but I think it's refreshing. All these little mistakes that they're making are coming to light. And I think to expect that they were perfect 2 years ago wasn't a truth.
But did you not hear the clips from Joe Biden where he was saying things like, oh, well, we got to set up because there might be fraud this time, or there might be, I don't remember how he phrased it, but yeah, it was ridiculous because he was setting us up for, oh, now we're going to have fraud. Just like in 2016, remember? Oh, Trump's an illegitimate president. What's that? Right?
Biden, watching him in his clips saying he's not drilling when he tells us and beats up the oil companies, that hypocrisy in plain view is just such a turn off to me, right? I just can't take it. I just can't take it from people. That's what I don't want in government.
Right. Yeah, it pretty much stinks.
You know, again, this morning I was going over and I didn't want to get too many quotes and stuff because, you know, everybody is sick of that, but I just couldn't pass this one up. This was Joe Biden's bizarre closing argument. Shut up, you moocher, and take what we give you. I thought that was great. I wonder who that was supposed to be a shot towards.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
Right.
know, but I think, you know, I said this with Obama, and I think that right after Obama's second term, that we all said, hey, look at this. We know the Democratic philosophy or politics don't work. They haven't worked. They don't work. But obviously people forget, right? So here we are, the same stupid stuff. Why? I mean, I don't know why. It's just crazy.
well, you
People have
know,
no memory.
what I was taught, you know, way back when, is that when you voted for a president, that president, whoever won, became the president of the country, and then he represented the country. That's not the case anymore. The only thing now, you look at Joe Biden. He doesn't represent the country. He only represents half of it, his party. That's
So,
not.
so let me set this whistleblower thing up again because I think I might have it now. So the guy's name is Peter Berniger releases explosive information at it's a Wisconsin hot event in Wisconsin Rapids on October 29th, 2022, naming assistant clerk Kimberly Zapata, who saw Milwaukee election clerk Claire Woodall Vogue switch memory sticks into the voting tabulator, spiking the vote total in favor of Biden in the 2020 election. I know everybody's tired of hearing about 2020, but this stuff is important. Can you hear that?
It's not playing here yet, or that I see.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of quiet. I don't think the video is very good. Can you hear it?
Again, you know, that's just one of those things. Why aren't those thumb drives like welded in or something, right? I mean, there's just way too much flexibility in that stuff and access.
Yeah, it's not playing. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I don't want to waste everybody's time on this. I do think though that if you can search it out, this guy, it's interesting because in 2020 she was accused of losing this thumb drive, and there was a backstory that said that the police seemed to be withholding something, you know, and they just kept saying, you know, well, they didn't, you know, it just didn't seem genuine. So here we are 2 years later, and now a whistleblower comes forth and says, "Yup, she switched the thumb drives." So he's calling for her to be arrested and charged, right? I don't know if that's happened yet. I haven't seen any stories on that, but I just think it's kind of interesting that they're, you know, going at it this way, and that it's taken 2 years, 2 flipping years. I have to be careful, right?
Well,
2
I just
years.
think it's so funny, right? Cheating is cheating, right?
Yep.
It's they could have done the work, right? It's just like us, right? You could go out, knock on doors, print, you know, go on the radio, go on interviews, go interview with small groups, speak your piece, spread the news. And that's what we do here, right? We don't tilt the board. We don't, right? I mean, I just don't even understand any of that. It's just ridiculous to me that anyone, right? It's a character shortfall, a broken chip that people have.
A broken chip. I like it.
I mean, I just don't get it, right? I mean, why? I mean, it's just the most evil of all things. People who worked hard get taken advantage of. I just don't
Yeah.
understand any of it.
Nor do I.
I mean, it gets a little results oriented, right? At all cost.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I started to talk about too about the Bolsonaro thing in in Wisconsin, and we are playing, by the way, on Facebook. I did just check, and we are there. So
Oh, nice.
at least it is going. But of course, because and there are 4 comments. Let me see if I can see what they are. Let's see. Yeah, I guess not. Says I got 4 comments here, but
Says
I'm
there
probably
were
going to have to.
44
Here we
comments.
go. The election. Oh, here's Steve. Steve's given us some comments. Steve Knoll. The erection of hairs on the skin due to cold, fear, or excitement. There you go.
Oh, I know. Our word of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did comment on that. Unfortunately, like I say, we're not seeing the comments. I thought we were supposed to be able to see them on our feed, but I am not seeing them here. So I'll figure that out, though, next time around. Oh, here they are. Wait, there they are. Look.
Where are they?
Can you see on the, you've got a,
Is
do you
there a
have
chat
anything?
button?
Yeah, there should be a chat button for you. I'm not sure where it is. Sorry, everybody,
I checked it, but I don't see anybody in it.
Say again?
I clicked on the chat, but I
No,
don't see
comments at the top.
Oh,
Can you see comments? Because private chat was at the bottom.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
then, yeah, comments. So thank you, Eddie. He said, great show and hosts. I think that's a copy paste. Sorry, just my opinion. I don't think you guys got my little joke.
It might help if we had better user understanding, right? This format's awesome, though. It's pretty easy to see and stuff on this end.
Yeah, and I think what I'm going to have to do in the future, if I want to play a video, I'm going to have to download the videos and put them on. I don't think I can play it through Telegram. I think that's the problem.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I had some videos and I really wanted to show them because mainstream is not showing anything happening in Brazil. And that's just, at least, let's put it this way. From what I'm seeing on alternative media, there's a lot happening in Brazil, and they're requesting the military, which is legal in their country, to step in and talk about the audit. I think that they have done an audit, and I don't think it was released. I could be mistaken about that, but that was my understanding. So, it's just kind of crazy. And then again, from Telegram, poll lines were long in North Carolina this morning. And there's just so much happening that you're just not hearing about. And I think it's horrible. Brazil, this is military footage. I wish I could show you from the protest taken today, which is November 7th. It says, look at the sea of people in front of the military headquarters. So is that real? I don't know. How can we know, right? Any more than what the mainstream puts out there is real. Is it? They could be CGIing it.
What they put out is prettied up, right? It's just like a co-anchor in the makeup chair. It's news with a spin and polish on it.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how much is real and how much is faked. And when you look, like I say, on Telegram, you don't know if what you're reading is real. So here's Richard Citizen Journalist, who's been around for the whole 2 years since this thing happened. I drove 800 miles yesterday, filled up 4 times, and drove past many gas stations. All have diesel and gas. All also have glitched screens, broken pumps, full trash cans, stock laying around everywhere, shortage of employees, and slow checkout lines. He says he called the Allentown truck stop where it posted they're out of diesel. They have diesel, but the card readers are down. So it's not that they don't have it. Their card readers aren't working.
But again, they're choosing a message.
Right. So far, the diesel shortage is just another psyop. Gas stations all over are a total mess like everything else these days. Now, that's one person's opinion. Take it for what you want. But I just think that we are so limited in the accurate information that we're getting across the country. And that's why, for me, I'd rather look at this and at least say, well, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but at least I have some news to look at. There's nothing out there in the mainstream.
I think there's all kinds of little snippets of stuff. I don't know. Remember when news started, like local news started going, the big storm, right? They
Yeah.
had the whole big setup and the window dressing and the presentation because their show's better than Channel 2's or whatever.
Right.
That's the way all TVs run now.
Yeah.
They all got a big show. They all got this and they all got that. But where's the meat? Where's the beef?
Yeah.
Right? They're news with color. They're not just news.
When I was in communications at night, we used to get, usually between about 6 and 7 o'clock at night, we used to get the beat calls from all of the news agencies and said, hey, what you got going? Got anything newsworthy for us? Well, night after night, you get the same calls. Well, we started making up stuff, and and they would universally, we had, a woman that was caught in a mangle, threw over, and she went through a plate glass window and discovered her, a napkin and said, oh, you got anything else? You never knew what they wanted. The old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, really isn't true anymore. They want something that's really sensational that they can blame on somebody or cast aspersions against somebody else. Who knows?
It just cracks me up because best I know, they get like from 15 seconds of being first and then it's over.
Yeah.
So
and it becomes the truth.
To go along with my scenario before, I'm looking at a video from on Telegram right now that's showing the Federal Reserve that has a fence all the way around it. Now, have you heard that reported anywhere?
No.
Federal Reserve, which one?
In Washington, D.C.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, fence all the way around it. So either
that's probably that capital paranoia.
Yeah, either this person is faking a video, which she could be doing, but she's like Richard, citizen journalist. She lives in Washington, D.C. She's been doing this since the beginning. And I know I checked out Richard and asked some people if, I didn't tell them where I got the info, but I checked on him and said, hey, is this true? And people that live there would say, yeah, it's true. So I suspect that there's no reason why she would want to tell us there's a big old fence around the Federal Reserve.
Well, in the San Francisco Fed, they just put a whole bunch of homeless around it to protect it. They don't need the troops, right? It's cheaper just to throw some food out in a circle around the Fed.
Oh, my
and they
goodness.
get the homeless out there.
Yeah. We got 15 minutes until polls start closing in.
Is that right now?
It's 3:45, so 3:49, I guess.
Hey, we have some news hot off the press, just handed to me.
And I don't have my sound effects, darn it.
There's a house fire in Sparks started by a meteor.
What? Come on.
Hey, Debbie?
Come on.
It was on the news.
Come on, watch.
Oh my goodness.
Watch the story is not mass media, right? We're not the Today Show. We're not CBS, right? We don't have to create stuff.
That's
News
right.
is hard enough all on its own.
That's like they say.
In
You got anything,
Nevada, caused by a meteor.
Oh,
Yes.
here's something I pulled off
House fire.
the internet this morning, and I thought was
Thanks, Debbie.
Pardon?
I said, thanks, Debbie. Did a meteorite cause a house fire?
Yes.
Oh, no, this is from USA Today 23 hours ago. Officials investigate California blaze that killed a dog. And then meteorite strike may have been the cause of a house fire in Nevada. Wow.
Hey, when I was
And there's also a meteorite in Northern California. So these meteorites are spreading themselves out, huh?
Wow.
when I was working and doing arson investigation, go to a house fire. Trust me, I would never put that this was a meteor strike. I don't care. I don't care if I have a rock in my hand. I wouldn't document that. There would go your career right there.
So there's the whistleblower right there. That's the whole Fox Mulder X-File thing.
But here's something interesting. Again, I pulled it off the internet this morning. Ohio man fatally shoots neighbor because he thought he was a Democrat.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
No, It says, well, this was 5 hours ago, but that was this morning. A Southwest Ohio man shot and killed his neighbor because he believed he was a Democrat, according to the victim's family. Austin Gene Gibbs was taken into custody by Butler County Sheriff's deputies just before noon Monday after the shooting was reported, and investigators found Anthony Lee King dead of multiple gunshot wounds, reported the Journal News. My neighbor just shot my dad, the victim's son told dispatchers. He's come over multiple times making statements. I think the guy's insane.
Well, I can tell you,
politics pretty serious.
yeah, there's crazy things going on out there. That's all I can say. The ACLU, I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about the ACLU stopping the counting in Nye County because they're doing the paper ballot counting, right?
Right.
And they're hand counting as opposed to, well, they're actually doing both. They're doing the tabulators and they're also doing hand counting. Well, they basically shut them down. And Barbara Chagavsky, who has been in a whole basement with
Yeah,
Biden,
she's even worse than Catherine Cortez Masto and
she's
Hillary.
been hiding forever.
She might be in the same hole.
She came out of hiding and she told them, nope, you can't restart. They submitted a new plan, said, we're going to, hand count, but we're going to do it silently. They had a plan for doing it. She wouldn't approve it. Finally did approve it, but real late in the game.
Right.
So putting the pressure on, trying to make it so that Nye County is not successful. But I'm going to tell you something. I believe they will be successful. I believe that they will get that counting done.
Yeah, they got a whole bunch of want to.
Well, they do. And they have a whole bunch of Nevadans that are going to jump in and help.
Yep, I think so. And
yeah, that's what it's going to take.
So to me, I know I'm old school, but if someone says we want a hand count, how can you go, oh, that's not going to be accurate?
Well, Lenore and I were talking.
Serious.
Lenore and I were talking about this, and we said, how do you get results pre-technology, right? Pre-technology, we had the results in a day.
Yep.
And it was all hand counted.
Yep.
Huh. Go figure. Did they forget? Does the mainstream have like a bad memory?
Unconstitutional or illegal. All those elections are probably invalidated all the way back to George Washington.
Crazy.
I have a retort to that, Janice. There was 200 million people in the country, and now there's 350 million.
No, that's not a good answer. Sorry. It's just not.
Well,
you have more people to count. You have more, Doug, you have more people.
We have more, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you've got more people available to help count then. It's equitable. You're not telling me. I watched the logic and accuracy test, and it took almost an hour for them to check one machine. Now, what good is that when it takes them 3 weeks beforehand to do all this work, and then another 2-3 weeks afterwards to count? What the heck? That's not efficiency.
I think we're going to have to get those school board members in there because Doug's right. I don't think we can count that high, right? I think that's the only thing is, right? Right? I don't know, right? Yeah. After you get past 100.
Yeah, never overlook stupidity, right?
You might be right about that.
But seems to me like, Jan, so the error is probably like plus or minus 1 vote, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's just like being in a prison cell and doing the fives, right?
Yeah.
You remember
is this words of experience or is this like
No, I think that's words of experience.
Remember with Al Gore and Bush?
Hanging chads.
Hanging chads, yeah. What is this? Well, a hanging chad. Well, if it's the only one that was punched, I'd say it was a vote.
Well, Al Gore's sitting pretty now that he's like invented the internet and running around the world in his jets talking environmentalism. Looking
at past elections, where I would have liked to have been the proverbial fly on the wall is in Hillary's suite when they declared Trump the winner. But that would have been a thing to be seen.
You're not biased, are you, Doug?
Don't you think that gal has the most negative karma of any human being? To me, she's
you know what? You're absolutely right.
She
Yeah.
walks around and just pulls people down wherever she goes.
Yeah. Well, you could look at, speaking of karma, look at Joe Biden, wherever he goes, he plays to half-filled auditoriums. So
He's so close to Weekend at Bernie's, it's scary.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good. Supposedly after this election, both Trump and Biden are going to come out and declare whether they're running for the next election.
So I think we should just save taxpayer money. I think it'd be way more entertaining to put them in a cage fight, right? They're both about the same age, right? Like put them in a cage and let them go at it, and the winner gets it.
Yeah, that would do it. I can't believe. I don't think Joe Biden has a firm grasp on the pulse of the country. He couldn't if he planned on running again.
I hope Mr. Trump doesn't run. I hope he stays behind the scenes and pumps up candidates and spreads influence that way versus running. I'm really optimistic. Even, we haven't gotten into the financial stuff, but the Fed's raised a lot, but there is you can see something happening, right? It's not the end. This is the beginning, but there's a change.
Well, everybody thinks that Trump is a shoo-in for the next nominee. I don't know if that's really the case. I would like to see somebody else run. I think there's good candidates out there.
There's only one other candidate worth a hood. It's Ron Sanctimonious, and he's going to get the nod, and I think.
Hey, you guys, I want to take us away from this just for a second, because I think this is a screen I will be able to share.
Awesome.
And because it's on it's not on Telegram. So, we talk about, educating people. We do word of the day. We do all that kind of stuff. So this story came up, and I heard it yesterday on one of the other shows, but I just really want to play this clip because I think that it is so interesting how the left, and in this case, Doug, I'm going to agree with you. Joy Reid is someone that's I think is supposed to be a journalist, but is not so much that. And so she had something to say, and I wanna play it for you guys. Hold on a second, and I will get that up for you. Again, I will get better at this, I promise.
Yeah, no worries. We heard her briefly, I think.
Yeah, I know. I started it, but I want to have it on screen before we do it. So let me get back to our screen, because there's a little bit of manipulating.
She's trying to make us dizzy again.
Doug, I'm going to tell you right now, if you put a suit and tie on, you'd look like you were running for Senate.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Okay.
Hopefully, if my computer will do.
Too is that I have actually never heard a person who isn't an economist or works on CNBC. I used to do CNBC a lot as a guest. I actually used to do Larry Kudlow's show all the time, a couple times a week. And the only people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Wow. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught.
Is this person a college-educated woman?
I think she calls herself a journalist. I'm pretty sure that is her moniker.
What a journalist?
So she thinks that inflation is a word that the average person doesn't understand, that Republicans...
we looked it up. It's from 1676, and it's extinct now.
Isn't that a symptom of what's going on the left? They still think that the border is secure. I mean, and they don't know anything about inflation. You name it.
When I heard that clip, I was shocked.
They just want to rewrite history, right? I mean, how stupid do they think people are? Well, I mean,
Apparently, they think we're pretty stupid.
you know what? You can watch Murder, She Wrote. You can even watch the old Chip shows, right? And they show the past. And
Yeah.
you can see the stuff. And best I know, chips was in the 70s. There was a lot of inflation in chips. I mean, right? It's just, I mean, come on. Talk about like life deniers, right?
Yeah.
Just pretending like the first 60 years of my life didn't happen.
That's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is.
Yeah, I heard her say that statement, or where I saw it on the internet about a week ago, and I just had to shake my head. They just appear, and it's statements like that they appear to be clueless. What
But
was
that's
what was the other one too? And I don't know the journalist's name, but they said that they compared what was it a white candidate to cockroaches voting for Black Flag or something. I thought,
What?
Raid.
but raid, yeah, yeah.
But that Stacey Abrams chick in Georgia, or gal running for governor, she's
Yeah.
in that same space. They get a lot of support, but not enough, right? But it is surprising to me how much support that space gets.
Well, we have a friend that went to the dark side, and we haven't talked to her in some
What
time.
she lives in Sparks.
Yeah.
And
Well,
got hit by a meteorite?
Not anymore. Our house is on fire.
A meteorite on top.
That's right. Or maybe she was in California and got hit by that
I
meteorite.
don't, NASA
Could be
must
either
not
one.
have exploded
Yeah.
that one away.
But you know, you go back to again the left side of the spectrum. The Boy Scouts of America used to be an awesome organization to help young men grow up with good values, and and they've had to declare bankruptcy. Wow, I hope you on the left really, put that on a resume and say, yeah, didn't we do good? I don't get it. And then, they say, oh, well, we have to ruin Girl Scouts too. What is in their mindset where they take two good organizations like that are really helping young people and they destroy them? And then they think that they've won the battle. I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe that's why I'm an independent.
It might have a whole bunch to do with meta in the virtual world, right? They're just creating their own history and their own life and their own story, right? That's not like real. I mean, it's not that's being experienced. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, some of that stuff is theory, right? Perfect world utopia, right? Without procreation.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
but then you take this, you take the
crazy.
same, okay, we've destroyed the Girl Scout, we destroyed the Boy Scout, and now either knows which restrooms to use. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I like to focus on our biggest challenge, and I'd like to think that trans, gay, that space isn't our biggest challenge, right? That'll get sorted out. We got way bigger fish to fry.
But Ed, that is our biggest challenge in the sense that they're trying to push that so hard in the school systems.
No, I get school systems in general, or they're pushing agendas, but it's about the school boards, right? It's about the people you have in your place either accepting that stuff or not.
Right.
Well, this friend of ours said, well, she gave it. Well, I'll give you an example. The right, usually the Republicans, they hate gay people.
That's not true.
The Republicans
That is not true.
They say, hey, leave us alone. We don't care
That's
what
a mainstream media narrative.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
It totally is.
I think that probably most of them don't hate them. They probably don't. Well, I can't speak for them, but I'm just saying.
When we look at prototypical right and prototypical left people, right, the right person is that white evangelical Christian that's a hypocrite, and the person on the left is the environmental green person, like with a beanie hat and the fan on, right? We look at the extremes of those folks. I think we should, I think most people have a lot of crossover, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so funny that mass media is talking about a split ticket.
They don't see
Isn't
that's
that
where
the
you're
way
wrong.
everyone votes?
They have evolved. They don't have a beanie with a propeller. They now have tinfoil with little tinfoil bubbles on it. See, they progressed. They want to look out into the atmosphere.
That's those new digital antennas.
Yeah.
So if you go to politico.com, they're going to, for anybody who's looking for any kind of results, they're going to at least have, for the 2022 elections, they've got a lot of the different categories for like Senate, House, the governors. All of them are posting right now that it's too early, which is correct, right? But I thought maybe something might come up and, they might say that they started getting some results in, but they did not. So
don't you think it's
update.
going to be a real, I think there's going to be a real caution around, right, anointing winners, right? I think they're going to be right nail in the coffin, sure, before they start. I just feel
but they do give live updates. So if somebody's looking for some live updates, if you want to, believe them, I just don't even know what to believe anymore. But
well, Newsy did a thing yesterday where they were saying, and they talked about Politico was one of the 3 websites they showed.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, we're an AP outlet, right? As things come over to the AP that have been verified by the AP with state houses and whoever, it's going to go on our board straight from the AP.
Yeah. Steve Shepard, I don't know who this person is, if he's, a reporter or whatever, but he said at 4:07 p.m., we're eagerly awaiting results from fast counting Florida, where a GOP Governor Ron DeSantis may be primed for a blowout victory, which could be a springboard for a national campaign. So, of course, everybody thinks that DeSantis is going to be one of the candidates for president in 2024. There's at least one. This is David Siders, who says there's at least one Florida resident who might have something to say about that, though, Steve Shepard. He's talking about, obviously, about Trump.
Mr. Trump, yeah. However, I will say this about Florida. Florida, best I can tell, is the conservative hotbed of our country now, not Texas.
Yeah.
Or any other place. I mean, where I lived in Ohio or whatever, Florida's like doubling down on conservative.
Yeah. So this guy, Steve Shepard, says that the polls are closing in 6 states, including Georgia and Virginia. Polls will also close in almost all of Florida. So apparently there's some parts in Florida that don't close at 7, which generally reports its votes early and efficiently. Yeah. I wonder why nobody else can do that.
Weren't there a couple of races that were close in the Northeast, like New Hampshire or somewhere?
Yep.
Well, and I even think New York is in the running for
right.
conservative.
Yeah. Well,
in fact, I saw a clip where this cop was taking, I think it's Zeldin. I'm not sure that I've got his name right, but I know it starts with a Z.
That's the New York Republican.
Yeah. Well, I saw a cop on the social media post, and she was taking signs for Zeldin down and actually posed for the camera, showing that she was removing them all.
Was it inside the electoral vote thing at a
No, these were on the street. And she was removing them, and she was proud of it.
So they won't even pick up after homeless, but they'll pick up like active, brand new, smell pine.
It's crazy.
Electoral signs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it says that Gary Fineout says, but there have been signs all today that Republicans are going to swamp Democrats, and they will flip multiple counties that have been won by Democrats in recent years. And that was in reference to Florida, I believe, just based on the feed. I'm just reading a feed off the live updates from
I just hope that
Politico.
we do have a conservative group move in, and I hope we move forward and not look back. I hope we move forward with policy and attempt.
When you say don't look back,
stuff.
you mean not to 2020?
So yes.
I disagree with you, as you probably already knew.
Well, right, but best I know, we're not going to get away from it because Trump's not going to let us forget it, right? And to me, that's just going to...
I don't believe it's just Trump. I think that you have a lot of people like me that feel that that's an important election that needs to identify what the problems are, because they have not gone away. And if you can see what's going on with that one, you're going to know what's going on with every single other one. That's just my opinion. I didn't mean to shut everybody up.
No, well, I'm just saying, right? I mean, for me, the last several years have just been, right, Trump. So Republicans
But it
have,
doesn't have anything to do with Trump with most of us.
well, I'm just
It
saying,
isn't about
for me,
Trump.
it does, because it's government just flip-flopping, spanking the other one for past indiscretions and no one looking ahead. If we're not drilling, right, making it easier for these guys to get oil and lower gas prices, let's build a refinery or two, right? Let's build some power plants. Let's do some positive stuff and quit talking and bitching about stuff. I want to see action.
Action, right? Well, you'll get action. You just you don't know in what direction.
Well, right.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Somebody in the news media went up to Canada and they said, "Hey, you as Canadians, being our largest border with the Canadians, what is it that you think? What would be your number one choice of the thing that you think America does best?" What would you think their answer would be?
It could be drink. It could be make cars. I don't know.
Janice?
Ask me the question again.
What do you think the Canadians think Americans do best, better than Canada?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know that they think we do
I
anything.
thought it was very interesting. Ed, you came the closest. They think we do the best Mexican food. I thought that was a real in-depth thought.
That's interesting.
What?
Very interesting.
Yeah, it is, really.
Yeah.
And that was a poll that they did. I don't know. It could have been, they asked, in a diner, in a Mexican diner, that's where they did the poll. Who knows? But yeah, I thought it was interesting too. But that was what came back. There was another NBC poll that I saw that I thought was interesting and typical of NBC. They said, what do you think that the public thinks are the first 10 things that are important in this election? And the first one everybody kind of agreed on was inflation. And the second was the danger of our democracy.
Well, here's some danger for you. I want to recap a little bit about this morning. And since we are kind of focusing on elections, and again, I would have shared this stuff with you so you could see it. But so it's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and America's 2022 midterm elections are beginning, right? And so this is courtesy of Emerald Robinson. And she does a lot of reporting on a lot of politics. So she says, long lines in Anthem, Arizona, with poll workers explaining the Maricopa County machines are not working. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Texas machines down in Temple, nobody able to vote at all. Harris County, Houston, Texas, lines out the door as half the machines are working in the first hour and people are going in from other polling locations. She says, so let's check in on the great state of New York, shall we? Every machine malfunctioned. And don't forget the Garden State, New Jersey. All voting machines are down in each district across Mercer County. That's the one I talked about this morning, that I heard about this morning. Voters can still vote using a standard, sorry, I had to flip my screen here. A standard ballot at their polling locations. I don't know what a standard ballot is for them, but
so
Ohio.
I'm going to have to go with strange coincidences.
Hold on. Ohio took an hour to vote this morning. Nice decision to reduce the number of machines from 12 to 6. One broke down, so actually 5. Another great decision was aligning the machines so that everyone in line can look over everyone's shoulder to see who they're voting for. Georgia, my son and I were just kicked out of being a Fulton County poll worker because I posted on Twitter this morning that I was working at the polls to ensure a free and fair election. So there you go.
No, I agree with you. Why, right? All this early voting, none of them broke down till today, right? All
Yeah.
of them today.
Yeah,
None
just
of
a
them,
coinky dink.
none of
Just a
them
coinky dink.
yesterday, none of them
Nope.
last week. All of
Nope.
them now.
Yep. Just so happened that on election day, we get a big snowstorm and it's raining in California. Oh my, you can't go vote when it's raining, right, Doug? So
You know,
anyway.
I did see an interesting statistic about mail-in ballots for Washoe County.
Who
Actually,
posted the
I
statistic?
think it was Nevada. That the majority, there was about a 10% more Democratic ballots that were put in than were Republicans, and I think 35% of the ballots were Republican, 45% were Democrats, which I thought was pretty interesting. Why do you think more Democrats would mail in ballots than Republicans?
I'd love to know the answer to that because I'm a mail-in guy. Jan's not. Jan's a go in and pull the lever. As are
I
many
will
on
not
the right.
mail. That's like mailing cash through the post office.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're mailing cash. Is it going to get there? Maybe.
I just do what Debbie tells me.
I've always done the mailer since I was with Seagram and Young and traveling. It was just easy, and I didn't have to worry about whether I was in town or not.
Here's something interesting. We won't get the final tabulation in Nevada till 3 years.
You're
days.
probably right.
Yeah, 3 days from now, because they allow mail-in ballots to be postmarked. It was either 2 or 3 days to the future.
No, today.
Yeah.
They
No.
got to be postmarked today unless there was an error, Doug.
Well,
Right.
I said no. Like
is today.
no, I did read on the internet. Sorry,
The internet doesn't.
you had
anything.
you had 2 more days, 2 or 3 more days to get your mail-in ballot postmarked.
No.
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 State laws today. It's got to be postmarked today or doesn't count.
Huh.
It's true.
Okay. All right. Wait a minute. I have to turn to my secretary. Did you find that out?
His fact checker.
No, actually, she raised her hand. Well, part of her hand.
You didn't know that I was like an election paralegal?
Oh.
Well, they are starting to report on Georgia for governor, and they're saying that Kemp is behind, but there's only 8% of the vote in. So that's
I'm
not
looking at some
representative.
stuff right now on Newsy.
Yeah.
And they're showing some stat. Well, they just flashed them. They're off, but they were showing like there's Virginia. Those are brand new. Those are nothing. I mean, like hundreds of votes. There's Florida, Ron DeSantis, 52%, 47%, but he's almost got 2 million votes already. Georgia governor. This has Abrams way up on Kemp, but it's early again.
But it's 8%. It's only 8% of the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway, that's going to go on and on and on.
I think that's representative of the fact that Democrats mail in their ballots. So they probably already have those counted and released.
So it depends on state law, right?
Right.
Like
it does.
Nevada,
Yeah. In Nevada, you can do that.
Today.
No, I believe that they were able to count. They can't look. That's, I think, what we were told, that they can compile the count, but they're not supposed to look at it.
They can't tell anybody.
I don't know. I think that's silly myself, but that's kind of what I heard.
Yeah, I think Georgia is a place they can't, they have them. They can't start till today.
Right.
I
think that they shouldn't be able to count until the polls close.
I agree with you.
We did it before, and sorry, Doug, maybe we have more people, maybe we don't. Many of us have died off in COVID, I'm sure. So we don't have as many. We're fine.
You're funny.
Sorry. Well, unless you're counting the dead people that count, that vote.
Well, right. I mean, it's that whole thing. The whole master attention to voter integrity, cleaning up the database roles. I think that, right, there's a lot of progress to go, but I think that I'm more comfortable today than I was 2 years ago. Right, 2 years ago was like, you know.
Why are you comfortable? Comfortable with what?
I am more comfortable with the process in Nevada, even, right? I get they don't agree, but eyes are on elections. I think there's a higher confidence in the result now.
Do you know how many violations we put in the primary that got ignored? We put so many. There were thousands of violations. They all got ignored by the Secretary of State and the registrar.
Fast forward maybe 2 years, maybe completely after the Biden administration, there will be many, many books written.
We won't survive it. We won't survive this next 2 years if we don't do something right now. Hopefully this vote does what it needs to do, because we're not going to survive it. That's my opinion. Just my opinion.
Well, back up the track here. What does not survive mean?
It means we'll be full communist, I think.
Yeah. I mean, just as close as Trump could have taken over the country, Biden can too. He's that close from us.
He's in bed with China. Come on. We all know that. Gosh, YouTube's going to hate this video.
Right? I mean, how many people want socialists? We have immigrants coming over here saying, don't be socialist. Don't be socialist. We just came from there and they suck. Right? And we got young people going, oh, we want to be socialists. And that's Bernie's drum. And he's had 40% of the party forever.
Well, I don't share that feeling. I share the feeling that we are going to have a heck of a time in the next 2 years if we don't do something today. I do agree with that. But no, I think we have too many good people in this country. I think that our Bill of Rights and our Constitution will stand.
They're not being followed. They're ignoring him. That's why Trump couldn't get any of his contests into a point of that they actually looked at evidence. They refused to look at the evidence. That's the judicial system not working.
The wheels of justice grind very, very slowly.
No, I disagree with. Well, I don't disagree with you, but I disagree that that's why it is. This is a great excuse that we can use, but it's not the truth. I don't believe. Again, my opinion.
I'm real excited, and so is the stock market. If we can talk on a quick financial tip.
Oh, it's time for Ed to change the subject because it's getting too hot.
No, it's the same subject, right? So it's going to be a divided government.
It'll be divided government?
Well, for sure, the House is going to be Republican, right? Regardless of what the Senate does, right?
You have to put beep, beep, beep before that.
No, do I?
You're so funny. So, I mean, they're not going to pass meaningful policy, right? It's not going to pass unless Biden they give him something on the border. Seems to me they should put those people right to work and we can solve two problems at once. But
put them to work in what, the salt mine?
No, put the turnstile.
Do
the background check on the immigrant coming in.
Oh, it was the first lady said, "Oh, that's okay. We'll just bring those Mexicans, and they can go to work in agriculture, picking and things."
Hell, I don't care. They got their choice. Looks to me like there's jobs all over the place. They could do whatever they want. But we need workers.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, either workers or babies.
Both.
Yeah. And I know there's a mini baby boom, but right, folks, if more people aren't here in 10 years than now, our economy's not going to grow. Right?
Well,
Doug says we have too many people already, right? Can't even count the votes.
That's all right. Then everything will devalue.
There's an assumption on the left that all these people coming across the border come into this country, most notably from South America, are going to be voting Democratic or Democrat. I don't think that's the case, and that's what we're finally seeing now. Is there are a lot of sharp people?
But it takes them 5 years to figure out the politics, and then they figure. It's just like the Hispanic vote. They've just got finally engaged, and they've decided that their values are more aligned with conservatives than liberals. They've come to that conclusion on their own, and they're voting that way this time.
Okay, then here's a question for you. Why is it that the black people still vote Democratic? The Democrats have been against black people for the past 100 years, since Abe Lincoln and probably before. Everything that's come along, the Democrats have been against. Abe Lincoln was a Republican, who passed all of the bills favoring black people. Republicans. The blacks were against almost every single bill. That's amazing. And yet they manage to still vote Democrat.
So no, though, Doug, they have. But as we educate people, I think educated people are conservatives. I think the older you get, the more conservative you get.
Okay, Ed, all right. Let me throw you a challenge then. Why is it most of these college professors and most of these high-flying universities, all of their staff are Democrats? Not all.
So come on, Doug. Where's that coming from? Best I know, colleges have all kinds of departments, right? They got poli-sci, they got doctors, they got attorneys, they got engineers. They got the same split, right? Do you think the Culinary Union down in Las Vegas, what in the world are they doing voting Democrat?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think that might be changing too.
He didn't answer your question.
He never does.
Oh, well, which question? There was about 4 or 5 of them thrown out there.
No,
I think that conservatives are finally reaching minorities. Minorities generally have family at the center and are more structured like conservatives. It just takes them a while to see. And I think that the deal has been communication. We haven't reached them, right? That's on Republicans, not on them.
Well, then why go back to the statement that Biden made on the closing days of this election? He told his closing argument was, "Shut up, you moochers."
Do you think there's anything he wouldn't say?
What?
He'd say anything to get people to vote for him.
Why didn't the news media pick that up? What would they have said if Trump would have said that? Oh man, they would have been burning the airwaves.
Well, right, but we know that. So, right, hopefully he protects against it and doesn't do it. Everything's biased against conservatives. Every institution, schools, existing government, colleges, hospitals, right? The media. How is it conservatives have a breath at all?
Let's go back to the question again. Why are college professors mostly liberal?
I don't think that statement's accurate.
Well, then why are most colleges liberal?
Because the presidents and the boards are liberal.
And what, they tell their staff what to think?
So same as any high school teacher that or any college, any college professors, they're mostly pretty conservative because they're educated folks. Some of them are liberal, but many are conservative.
Well, I think probably where the answer lies is I don't know how true a statement that is about them all being liberal. I think the conservatives just aren't as vocal. I think there's a lot. And what do they call that? The silent majority.
So why not? You got teachers that are just hard in subjects and they get fired for being hard because students lash out against them, right? Our institutions are running. Jan's right about many, many things. Our institutions are ridiculously falling apart.
Well, guys, we only have a little bit of time left. So did you do anything as far as a book blitz is concerned? Since we're not doing commercials, we kind of have to segue on our own.
I did.
Oh, good. All right, Doug, did you?
Ed, you said you did? Or
Yeah.
did?
Hold on, I gotta turn it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I did
Sorry,
too.
so I get a
Hooray.
I'm gonna turn on the light, and I got a John
Oh,
C.
Ed, I thought that's
Maxwell.
what this program was about. Turning on the light. Oh,
There it is.
Change your world.
Oh, very nice.
Right. Chapter
Positive.
1. Hope has
Positive.
2 beautiful daughters. Their names are Anger and Courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are. Right. I don't have to talk about John Maxwell, but I do want to talk about optimism and going forward. Right. I want to get back on the path to, right, the life, the economy that we had under Donald Trump right before COVID and snatched it away was a standard of living that I hope we can get back to soon, right? Not at the end of my life, but we're a long ways away from it now. We need to get back digging and change your world.
how do you, Ed, do you change it financially first and then everything follows?
So, no, coaches would say, see it, believe it, see it and make it happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's about seeing it, seeing your success in what your passion is and what your ideas are, and then executing.
Well, there you go.
Pardon?
I said, there you go. What do you got for us, Doug?
Oh, I like this book. Both Debbie and I have read it, and it's an awesome book. And you're going to love this, Janice. 360,000 reviews. I can't even.
360,000?
300, well, to be exact, 360,147 ratings. Isn't that amazing?
Hmm.
And where are the crawdads sing? And that's no, not only that. Let's take it. That's March 30th of 2021. Wow.
Do you have the book there?
Pardon?
Do you have the book there?
Yeah. Well, I do somewhere.
Oh, I thought maybe you had it in hand.
Oh, it's behind me there.
No, that's fine. That's
So,
okay.
Where the Crawdads Sing is at once an exquisite ode to the natural world, a heartbreaking coming-of-age story, and a surprising tale of a possible murder. Della Owens is the author. Owens reminds us that forever shaped by children we once were, and that we're all subject to the beautiful and violet secrets that nature keeps. And both Debbie and I liked it, and I do want to. And one of the things you do like to, I guess maybe it's because I'm jealous with so many reviews, but yeah, it's an excellent book.
All right, excellent. Well, I am going to once again try this whole share screen thing, see if I can make it work. Because once I show you this, what the heck, it'll be an easy one. And it's called Going Rogue, and it's by Janet Evanovich. And you either like Janet Evanovich books or you don't. This is book number 29. And so if you're a fan, this is the Audible version, which of course I love. So that's what I'm going to recommend for the day, because I think that you need to do something that is fun and relaxing after all this stress that we've all been under. So there you
What
go.
are those things? Are those almonds?
Yeah, I think that's what they are. Yeah, they're almonds.
Okay.
Yep. It says Monday mornings aren't supposed to be fun, but they should be predictable. However, on this particular Monday, Stephanie Plum knows that something is amiss when she turns up for work at Vinnie's Bail Bonds. Got to understand the story behind this to find that the longtime office manager, Connie Rizzoli, who is as reliable as the tides in Atlantic City, has not shown up. I don't know what the cover is in reference to, but I think that's what they are, is almonds. That's what they look like to me. So
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I thought maybe it would give me some info.
Yeah, no, I was just looking for the linkage myself.
I know. I was
Maybe
looking
they're
for
golden.
it. Nah, I don't know. but it's a fun book. It's got some humor in it, and yeah. So that's my take on it, and I figure we need to do that and just be a little bit lighthearted.
I last week. Sorry, Deb, it was over here.
Yeah.
Last week, this is the book that I recommended, Where the Sky Begins, and
Hold it up again for a sec. Let me see if I can.
yeah,
Nope, that's not the right screen. Let me do it again. Let me see. One of these will work. Maybe this one? No, not that one. This one. Yeah, there you go. Put it in front of, there you have it. Where the Sky Begins. Perfect.
yeah. And I think Ray's Bowen.
Get in front of my
Debbie,
camera.
Debbie just finished it, and she kind of agrees with last week. Is what financial info?
No. Sorry, I shouldn't have that out there.
Oh, look, there you go. You got your own.
Debbie validates the way I feel. And one of the reasons, not only recommend this book, but recommend the author. She is the author of a bazillion books. Here. Well, here.
A bazillion. I like the number. Can you put it in zeros for me?
Can we have that as word of the day next week?
Those are all books that she, and the thing that we both agreed on, they're very, very easy reads. And they're very
Quick.
fast moving. They have unexpected tales to them. And when you put the book down, you always say, you know what, that was really interesting. So anyway, I thought I'd share that. That's from last week and this week.
Perfect.
Oh,
I think that's great.
Look,
There you go. She's your coach, and we appreciate.
So look,
it.
Jan. So Doug, I have to say that Jan is like our Elon Musk, right? With what's the story? She's got a new toy. She's playing with it. Oh,
I
am.
am.
Warnings. Don't let that misspeech through. No.
Yeah.
Right? No. Anyway, same.
But
thing.
I think it's kind of
Janice
fun.
Hermsen, Elon Musk.
You
Same
know, with the new Twitter, what do you call it? The new Twitter philosophy. Isn't it amazing that the people all of a sudden now don't like that they can't censor, and they say, hey, you're free to say what you want as long as we agree with you. But now it's open. They're saying, oh, look at all the nasty statements that are out there. Look at all of the terrible things that are being said. Yeah, that's what they say. The First Amendment is dirty. You know, it's what the way people feel.
And going back to your other topic about the professors, Steve contributed. Many professors are closet conservatives.
Yep.
So that might be, some factors that need to be thought
It is.
about.
If you go to college and talk to people, right, professors,
Well,
right, you can tell.
And it's typical of the internet. Like we said, there's 350 million people in this country, and somebody will shoot somebody in New York, and that becomes the headline. And now everybody's shooting everybody. They apply that template to 350 million people. Well, that's not the case.
Well, and once the people stop buying into that kind of philosophy or narrative or whatever you want to call it, the media will have to change. But as long as we keep buying into their talking points, it's not going to change. And I do see in Politico, I just wanted to kind of jump over here. Ohio has got some results. DeWine, is that how you say his name?
Yeah. He should win big.
They're calling
He's
it.
favored.
They're calling it.
Yeah.
What are they calling it now?
They're calling it for him being the governor.
They're calling him governor.
Yeah, they're calling him governor. 84.8%. But I don't know.
So he's been there. He was the incumbent. He pulled him through COVID, and they weren't. They tried and really didn't shut down. They stayed open, and people are grateful.
Oh, that's, yeah. I read on the fire department's blog that they have, there's probably, again, out of the 7,000 employees they have, there's probably 15 that are on this blog. But what have they said? they thought that this election is going to be an IQ test for the public.
Well, in that regard, Abrams is now 55% with Kemp being 44. You know, when we first looked at this, it was pretty low for Kemp, but he's catching up.
Well,
So-
right, it's that old thing. What are they counting?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Well, yeah, we need to know what ballots they're counting because that does make a difference.
What area of the state or
Yeah.
whatever. Georgia's a big and diverse state.
South Carolina, I don't know what you know about South Carolina, but in their governor's race, McMaster is the Republican. He's got 57.6, and Cunningham has 41.6, but that's only 2% of the vote. You know, but even on governor in Georgia, that's only 14% of the vote, and look how much he caught up in just 6%.
Yeah.
Whereas governor in Florida, they've got 63% of the vote in already.
Well, like for instance, Tim Scott is the senator from South Carolina, or is a senator from South Carolina, right? He's up for re-election, I think. And he was up, but anyway.
Well, here's an irony that I did not recognize because I didn't know what I was reading here. So they've called it for DeWine. However, only 4% of the vote is in, and he's behind.
And he
They
what?
called it for him.
And he's behind.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dem has 58.4%.
Are you looking at Fox or CNN?
No, I'm looking at Politico.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I like to watch CNN because I like to watch their commentators. I think it's fun.
Well, I just think it's interesting that there's hardly anything in, and they've already called it for him. And he's
How can
behind.
they call that?
They've called
I
it.
don't know. They called it in Arizona, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is the new way we do things.
So, right, you know, when they play like the Ryder Cup in golf, right? It's Americans against Europeans, and when you're putting and you're close, right? They have this authority to give them the putt. They don't have to make them putt, right? They can give it to them, you know, or they make them putt, and there's a certain range of what's gentlemanly and what's being a pain. Appears to me like it's the same thing. It looks like, oh, Mr. DeWine, you're kind, you're in. We're just going to rubber stamp you.
Yeah, they rubber stamped him. It was good. It was
Yeah,
okay.
they just gave it to him. You're good.
Yeah,
So we'll
you're the
fight
one.
somewhere else.
Yep, exactly.
That's crazy to me.
I just think that it's almost should be illegal. I mean, you're swaying people in a direction that you can't say that. I mean, I don't know. I just think.
Well, you know, that was the big whoopie-doo. I read about that very thing about when Jimmy Carter lost his election. There still hasn't been anybody that has lost it as dramatically as he had. Well, when a certain percentage of the vote was in, he came forward and said, "Hey, you know, I lost." And when when he did that, for the West Coast, that was on the East Coast. You know, there's 3 hours difference. People just quit going, and they quit casting their ballots. Right. So they said, "Hey, you can't be doing that. That's not fair. You got to wait till all the polls close."
Well, that was the whole point. Is that when we were counting by hand, they were able to call these races very quickly.
Yep.
And you know, there's something wrong when hand counting, and I don't care how many people there were, it's still relative. They were able to count them faster than we could even get to the polls. It wasn't even 7 o'clock and they were calling races in other states. So you're not telling me that doing it by machine is quicker. It's not. It is not.
So. Yeah, it brings in. So like Doug, do you ever pull a slot handle or slot machine handle?
Hey, I've got some. I got a text that is telling me if this is about Reno, Nevada, Reno, and it says I'm at North Valley's high school, and a poll worker just said she's never seen so many people. Hang on, I got to open my text. Oh, shush, sorry.
I didn't know you had an organ in there.
She hasn't seen so many.
Wait,
What?
I've never seen so many people in to vote. I'm telling you, a large, overwhelming number of these people are red-blooded Americans. And this only shows a third of the line. And I will see if I can pull that up so you guys. Oh, no, I can't pull up a picture. I'd have to put it into something. So
Yeah.
I'll get better at this. But
Well, we got
yeah.
2 hours, right?
I don't have enough time.
Well, I mean, the voting people have 2 hours and
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, but there's a long line there. It's huge.
What does anybody know what the weather is in Las Vegas?
I have no idea.
It was supposed to be rainy, but
It was
I didn't
rainy.
talk to Fox today. I don't know.
Well, the reason I ask is because that's the 2 big bases in Nevada. Of course, the northern, I'll say Reno, but it's in the surrounding areas versus the Las Vegas area and the surrounding areas. That's where the majority of the votes are. Well, here, I think the snow probably chased some people away. So
Apparently not in the North Valleys.
Yeah, and I was going to say in Las
there's
Vegas,
a huge long line.
in Las Vegas, it's funny because Lombardo and Laxalt are basically persona non grata. Fox told me that he actually met Catherine Cortez Masto and the Gov were on campus. The conservatives didn't come or haven't come, but anyway, just he doesn't even think he's at college, right, going to school, watching the occasional sports game, but he's like, he doesn't know Republicans exist down there, except that he voted. But he's saying he's not seeing them. He's not seeing on campus. It's all the Dems.
Well, interestingly, there are some people out there, some camps out there that are saying that Washoe's actually going to determine a lot of this time around.
Well, let's hope so. And let's hope like we're sensible, folks.
We shall see. We shall see.
Well, you still got time to go. If you haven't voted, go do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear whichever way it goes, but it's good to hear that they're flooding to the polls because that's the way our system works.
Yeah. When I was in the registrar of voters this afternoon, there were probably about 40 people in line. And as far as the mail-in stuff, they were processing that really fast. You know, when you walk in and bring your ballot to drop in the drop box. So that was real quick. They were very fast. They were scanning them. They were stamping them. So, you know, it was cool. It was cool. So yeah, it's all good, I guess, right? Oh, well, Kemp is catching up. He's at 46.4 with 18% of the vote in.
Who?
Kemp in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. I was noticing they're still at that 1-4% of the vote count.
Yeah, well, that one's 18. Yeah, most of them are pretty low still. We're not going to be on long enough to do this, but you know, it was interesting. It's interesting to watch this stuff, and at least for me. I know everybody's not interested in that, but I figured it's election day. We needed to cover it.
Yep, and I am with Jan. I'm all for the hand count again. Machines just add a level of unknowing. Like I said, I was talking about slot machines because I don't gamble, right? I mean, that machine has a fixed return on it, and best I know, you know, it doesn't favor me.
No, it doesn't. And the only reason that you win at all, I did accounting for a casino. It was a small casino, but even so, the gaming board requires a certain amount of wins. That's right. The only reason you're winning. And right. It isn't in your favor. That's for sure.
Right.
So, you know, but yeah, there's a target there, and you know, they'll nail you if your machines aren't doing what they're supposed to. I guess unless they've been bribed, right? Oh, did I say that out loud?
Well, right, but I mean, to me, a voting machine's the same kind of thing, right? Especially, I mean, it's really when you're hearing those places that are only like counting every 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4, right? How is that?
Yeah. Well, I think we did our word of the day. We did our book Blitz. We've done it all. So.
I hope we motivated. I hope we made somebody happy out there.
I hope people enjoyed the show, and it's different, but I like the fact that we can do this at least every now and then. And
it's not it. you know what? It's not a crime to think on your own, folks. Think out of the box. Be different. Let's find solutions.
Well, if Janice gets her way, and we do become a communist country, that will be a crime.
Gets my way? What in the world are you talking about, my friend?
Well, what I'm saying is that if your philosophy comes true, that's better stated.
Yeah, thank you. That is absolutely not the way I want this to go.
No,
Look at that,
I
Jan.
agree.
We could get up a little meta version of Jan as a Sandinista. Right? I think we're all fearful that like people in government just think they know better, right? It's just ridiculous. It's an attitude that, it's like our children, and we talk about entitlement. Government has an entitlement that's way worse and way more dangerous. And folks have to like get knocked down a couple of pegs and be a little humble and realize they work for their constituents.
Right. And Steve says,
my father used to have a very succinct statement, and it was right to the point. It says, if somebody gets, somebody has to give. And that's the essence of what's going on. I don't understand the philosophy where a group of people said, hey, Ed, you make more money than me. I think you ought to share it with me.
Well, and I think it's a big opportunity to go, there's no limit on riches, right? The Democrats that play that, hey, they got the money, they got your money. That's BS.
Well,
there's more than enough to go around this.
Ever since I've been able to vote, Democratic Party has demonized winners. If you make a lot of money or if you're successful, you're obviously the opposition and you're bad. I don't get that. We should all be, you will never make a country better by bringing the top down to the bottom. You only make this country better if you bring the bottom up to the top, and that's doable. There's no reason that a lot of people can't make money. But unfortunately, human beings, what they are, is they are well, people are people. There's some aggressive people, and there's some people that could care if the store keeps.
Both parties are right, Doug.
Absolutely.
Both parties are right. I mean, if you want communism, you can have it.
Yeah, let's hope not. That's why we're fighting so hard. That's why we're all working so hard. And everyone needs to know that this is not a right or a left issue. This is independence. It's
the opportunity to succeed.
It's Democrats. It's everyone working together in this grassroots group that are trying to make something happen. So I appreciate that people have strong opinions on the right and on the left. And I think that's what this is all about. But I also know that when it comes to integrity, there are both sides of the fence and the middle two that are in there all working for the same thing. So I don't think anybody's going to talk about it in the mainstream, but we'll tell you here that we know that that's true. And it may favor right or middle more than left, but you also have to know that many on the left have been brainwashed or just too busy to be able to understand what's been going on. And those on the right have been brainwashed as well and don't understand that a lot of this is the uniparty. So, we need to.
Unfortunately, Janice, there's an old saying that it says, if they're in the middle, you'll get hit from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, best I know, you're probably right, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thank you guys for making adjustments and trying this out.
Hey, this is fabulous. You've done a wonderful thing, and I
three of us
apologize
won't have
for
to
my
run out to
subpar
our cars
performance.
tonight. Isn't that great?
Yep. It's
Run
awesome.
out to snow.
Yep. Didn't have to go anywhere. Got to stay at home.
Hey, thank you.
And we love your library.
Thanks, Dad. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. And
Bye.
we're going to end now. And please
Stay
share
dry
this.
and warm.
Yep. Please share. Please share.